Welcome back to the fields of Perthshire. A little bit windy, a little bit blowy. Another new permission, and look, it's the king of bull's heads, I should say. It's Albert. He's a bit camera shy, so we only ever get to see the back of his head, but he's got us a new permission, so we're out to give it a go. And it's a little bit windy, but there's lots going on around here, lots of history, so fingers crossed, some good stuff to come. And it's windy. If you like what you see and you're not already subscribed, then please hit that button. Right, enough waffle, let's go and find some ancient treasures. Well, I haven't even started, and Albert is in with a coin already. I'm too busy getting all my bits ready. I should also add, look what Albert's got. He's bought himself an XP DEUS 2. Is that a 13-inch coil as well?
Yeah.
Is that a wee add-on?
No, I got it with
Oh, you got it with the 13-inch. Yeah. There you go. Hey, look at that, eh? So, his investment's paying off, because he got himself a coin immediately. And there's a head there looking to the left. Doesn't look like Victoria though. It looks a bit masculine. Or maybe it is. Maybe it's a bun head. Right, I'm going to rub this up off camera and get right back to you. Well, it is a Queen Victoria after all. So, everyone knows Victoria, second longest reigning monarch in British history. Well, 1 penny, so that'd have bought you 6 eggs. Or a loaf of bread. Or it would have posted you a letter. Or it would have bought you probably about a pint of beer. Certainly half a pint, but quite possibly a pint. And I just managed to get a date off the bottom. It's 1888. It's taken me no time either, and I've got my first digger. 70-71. It's not the best of targets, but worth a go. And we're out. So first hole, always film it, as I said before. Question is it a flying start or not? What's in there? There it is there. I think it's a wee piece of lead. It is indeed. Well, a little fragment of lead to get things going. As I say, always a good sign, but it's got a bit of a intentional shape to it. Let's straighten it out a wee bit. That is indeed intentional. Look at that, it's a star, kind of. So that's not a coincidence, I think. Purpose unknown, but yeah, it's a little snippet of lead. Well, not in a million years did that sound like a coin, but that's just come out the hole. And that does look like a coin. It was 67, 70, 73, 78, it was all over the place. I wonder if it might actually be a token rather than a coin, because it would have been a much higher readout. 80, 83, 86 is what it should have been. So I'm going to give this a wee clean up off camera, because it might have the name of the farm on it if it is a token. So I'll get right back to you. Well, what do you reckon to this one? I think it might be a halfpenny. I think I can just see Britannia, the head, the body, the arm, just there facing to the right hand side. What do you think? But on the other side, there is a head looking to the right. It's quite a big head, almost potato-ish in shape. But then at the same time, it looks like he's got a wee pointy sort of chin, a wee pointy beard, which makes me think Edward VII. But then at the same time I'm thinking, well, it's in pretty awful condition for Edward VII. Could it be Georgian? Could it be George III? Or is it another king? Well, let me know in the comments below. But 5 minutes in and it's coin number 1. We've got a possible coin contender. 85, 86. Relatively easy digging, relatively, but a bit stony here. Sounds better. And we're out this time. Right, it's a bit of a nightmare to keep you out of this wind. This is the tail end of your hurricane that you had in the US. That is another coin. Or a token. Well, there you go. So yeah, I've got the tail end of the storm that you had in the US. It's come to Scotland. And it's pretty gusty. I think it's going to be up to 40-50 mile an hour winds today. So lucky I've got this microphone right. I think this one might actually be a token. So I'm going to clean this up off camera just in case it gives away my location. So I'll be right back to you in a wee minute. It is indeed as suspected. It's a token. It's plain on this side. I can't actually show you the other side because it's got the name of the farm that I'm metal detecting on. And it also says below it says 2D, which is 2 old pence. And this is a token that would have been given by the farm to workers, almost as a form of payment. It was a coin that they made themselves, and you could then transfer this into commodities in terms of there was a little shop on the farm where you could buy bread and eggs and milk and day-to-day essentials that you couldn't be bothered travelling 4 or 5 miles to the nearest shop to get. And you could only spend these in the farm shop. And worse still, the items that the farm shop sold were generally far more expensive than they were in the usual shops. So they had you over a barrel, they paid you, and then they effectively made you give the money back and then some. So this is probably from the 1800s. They were quite common in Perthshire back then, but it's a nice find, a nice piece of social history. Excellent. I've got a wee target here, 72, but I'm not far away from Albert, and he says he's got a lead seal. So plenty of targets coming up. We've literally only been going for 20 minutes or so. And that is indeed a lead seal. It's got 3 ones on it and a letter A in the top corner. Haven't had one like that before, I do not think. Don't recognise it, but on the back there is though something I do recognise, which is a crown with a lion below it. And I used to always think this was Scotland. That's the crown, there's the lion and the shield. I always thought this was Scotland, but it turns out it's actually the Netherlands. And this is a customs bag seal, so something that's come through the Netherlands, maybe grain or seed potatoes or something, I don't know, but it's probably sometime in the 1800s, and would have been just torn off of a bag and thrown away, but it's effectively to say that duty has been paid, a customs stamp. Brilliant, well done Albert. Alright, well that one was junk, but let's see what this one is. It's a much better tone, to be honest. Sounds like a coin, but I've got the woolly hat on today, so I'm not going to eat that. It's a wee bit stony as well. Last one, then we'll get the pinpointer out. Right, I'm going to do one more. Oh god, that's hard digging. Ooh, very stony. Well, it didn't help anyway, still in the hole. What's happening? Oh, I might be in the wrong place. I think we're in the side wall. Let's loosen it up a bit without hitting it with a spade. Let's see what happens now. Oh, Albert's smiling. Well, there you go. That is not a coin. Lucky I didn't bet my hat. That's a horse brass, I think, or a bit of a flywheel, one or the other. And Albert's got himself a lump What are you seeing that I'm not?
Brush it.
Brush it.
It's a polar bear.
It's a polar bear. Okay, let's see what it is. It's a...
Someone.
I think you've been drinking again. It's a... What are you seeing?
Scrap.
I think it's a lump of... It's pretty heavy. It's like a bronze, I think, yeah. Certainly copper alloy or bronze, but... Ow, just get a bit of mud in my eye. Yeah, it's something substantial, but I don't know what. Alright, here's mine. Is it a flywheel, or is it a horse brass? I think it might be a horse brass. Unless, of course, someone thinks otherwise, but that would probably have been decoration on a great big Shire horse, on the saddle or on the reins, mounted on the harness or on the headdress or such like. And it's brass, I think, so it would have been a bright golden colour back in its day. Date-wise, probably 1800s, maybe into the beginning of the 1900s. Just filled in my hole, and yet again, Albert has got another find. He's got himself a coin, apparently. Hopefully it's in a bit better condition than what we've had so far. Gold?
Yeah, you can see it just sitting off there. The edge.
Oh aye. A wee kind of clod shot. Might be another token.
Forced it with my foot.
Or a button. Nope. It's not a button. But it's pretty toasted. Well, we'll give it a wee dry out and a wee clean up and see if we can identify it. But if it is a coin, which I think it is actually, I think that's going to be Georgian, maybe even older. Back to you in a moment. Well, there's not a lot of detail, you're going to have to take my word for it. And Albert's found what is probably the oldest, well definitely the oldest thing so far. I think it's a bawbee, which is a copper sixpence. And that would be from the time of Charles I, Charles II, possibly William and Mary as well. So if Charles I, it would be 1625 to 1649. If it's Charles II, it would be 1660 to 1685. And if it's William and Mary, it'd be 1688 through to about 1702. So this would have been a sixpence back in the day, a copper sixpence. It would have a thistle on one side with the words Nemo me impune lacessit, who dare meddle with me, and on the other side it would say, if it was Charles, it would say Carolus mag Brit France et Hibernia. Charles, King of Britain, Great Britain, France and Ireland. So there you go. So I'm sure that would have bought a fair few pints back in the 1600s. Well done, Albert. Best find so far. Certainly the oldest. Well, we've got a bottle top this time, which looks like a beer bottle top, but it says Baird Taylor Glasgow, or Baird Taylor Limited of Glasgow. And we've got a shout from Albert, who's walking towards me with a spade. What is it? A wee coin, is it? Right there. Right on the surface. It looks like maybe a wee halfpenny. Well, it might be a button. It's got a raised bit in the middle anyway. That's maybe just corrosion stuck to it. Need to give that a wee rub-a-dub off camera and get back to you. Well, it is a coin. We just got no idea who it is. It's pretty toasty. Just really impossible to tell, but we know it's a coin because I got the word penny just there, but it's half penny, and I'm guessing probably Victoria or Edward or George V sort of era, 18 into the beginning of the 1900s, but it's another coin. Oh, and look at this. Look what's Albert's found. Oh my goodness. It's not quite a bronze bull, but that's pretty good. What on earth is that? and give it a wee brush. I'm assuming it's hollow. Where is my brush? Is it hollow or is it one solid bit? No, it's hollow. So there you go. You can pick that out later on all by himself. So there you are. It is a person. Give it a wee gentle rub. It's a wee person. They're wearing like a little waistcoat, and they've got a little tailed jacket on as well. It's got a wee hole in it too. Well, how old is that, and what is the purpose, is the question. Can't say I've had one of them before. What do you think, Albert? How old?
Yeah. Almost looks like it's...
Do you think it's been painted?
Yeah, so it's like that orange paint on it.
Yeah, it's maybe just something else has hit it and left that, but it's a little lead, I think it's lead. A little lead toy, a little lead figure maybe. But date wise, I don't know, probably the latter part of the 19th century into the beginning of the 20th century. So it's probably going to be about 100 or more years old, I would say. 100, 150. So if you know, comment below. What a weird find. Well done, Albert. Well, I might have a coin now. Dug and dug, got the pinpointer out, realised it's just here in the edge, digging out round it, and do you see that there? That is a green edge. That is... oh, it's not a coin. Haha. Well, it looked like a coin, but it's a thing. It's a little cup-shaped thing. Interesting. Right, I'm going to pick the mud out of this and then we'll have a closer look at it. Well, there you go. That is a little cup-shaped thing. I thought it had a hole in it, but it doesn't. It's just a wee dimple in the bottom. And it looks like it's got some sort of irony residue inside. No idea what that is. Again, any idea? And let me know in the comments below. And Albert's got another coin. This boy's on fire.
Pretty toasted again.
It's pretty toasted, but you can just make out Georgius. It's gorgeous George V. Yep, Georgius V. You can just see his head. I'll look into the left. Actually looks like a silver coin. See that sort of colour it's got to it?
Yeah.
It looks... where did it come through at on your machine?
I think it was about 77. It's coming through now at 85, 86.
85, 86. It does look more silvery than sort of coppery brass.
Yeah,
or
dark.
yeah, it's got that grey silvery colour. You can just see on the edge there as well. But yeah, I wonder if it could be a 50% silver, because see just below as well, look at the detail below the crust. So you maybe need to soak that in something. But if it is silver, then that's going to be, because even look at the edge, it's got a milled edge on it. So I think that's a shilling. So that would be 12 pence. Right. Or is it a shilling? Maybe a sixpence actually.
Half shilling.
Yeah, maybe a sixpence, half a shilling. But I think that's a silver coin. So well done, Albert. Give that a clean up when you get home. George V, so it'll be 1910 to 1936. Well, he's only just shown me that silver potential coin. He's just got another coin. And I've got an 87, 86, which could also be a coin. So we might be in a wee hot spot. I'm also under a power line, so... screamer of an 87. So it might be a wee bit jittery in terms of the noise. Ah, I've got a bottle top. Don't believe it. Well, it's not even got decoration on it. Right, I'm going to have a wee look at his coin. Well, I was going to show you Albert's coin, but he turned around and he headed in the opposite direction. So, in the meantime, I've got a coin. Well, an 88. Sounds okay. Well, maybe sounds a bit trash, actually. Clod shot. It is, so it's just under the surface and it's a great big lump of lead. Yet another huge amount of lead's come off this field so far. This one's a wee bit of an unusual shape as well, as they often have been. It's almost like a little foot off something. So yeah, that's a weird sort of looking one. Pick that out. So I don't know if it's a fragment that's broken off something, if it's had a purpose, but ultimately it's junk. Well, we'll never know what it is at least. Again, this was a bit of a ropey signal until I dug it out. It's a fairly consistent 65. Bit of copper, maybe a button, but it's a lot of sort of funky signals. Oh, there's something. Well, it might actually be a button. My God, is that a tomback? That is a tomback. That might be the biggest tomback I've ever seen in my life. Ha! That is absolutely massive. Massive. Let's give it a wee rub-a-dub. It is, it's a tomback button. Now that was worn by someone who was trying to make a statement, that's for sure. So it would have had a loop on the back here somewhere, which has been lost. But that's a tomback button. It's Georgian, George III, 1760, 1820, that kind of period, probably closer to around the 1800 mark. And tomback is a mixture of zinc and copper, if I remember rightly. And they used to put a little dash of arsenic or a bit of tin in it to give that flashy colour. And if I'd have found that way round, I would have thought I'd found a massive milled or even a hammered silver coin. But it's a nice thing, definitely the biggest I think I've ever found. Brilliant. Had four bits of that scrappy lead. This sounds, well, it's a higher tone anyway, 1992. Georgian coinage, bottle top. Had quite a lot of bottle tops. Yeah, it's dropped down to 88 now. Well, that is not a bottle top. That is a very large tap. What is it with me and taps these days? I think that's 3 or 4 of my last digs. I've either had taps or I've had keys for taps. But that's got a bit of age to it. I mean, it's not ancient by any means, but it's been in the ground for a while. Probably 100 or so years old. Well, I got a pretty weak 66, which has produced my first button. It's a wee sort of hollow dome-shaped one, probably 1800s. So at this point, yours truly managed to partly pull the receiver for the microphone out of the camera. It's one of the reasons why when I have to dig deeper in holes I stop, but a few people had requested that I continue to film while digging deeper, and the problem with that is often I can hit the receiver. So I think I'll have to rethink that. On this occasion it was an 88, 89, and it's a 1 penny. Now I'm in a different part of the field. You can see the soil is a little bit richer, a little bit different from the previous part of the field, and as you can see with this coin, as a result the coin is in much better condition. So this is a penny of Gorgeous George, George V, and it dates to 1913, so just on the eve of the outbreak of the Great War. And as you can see, it's got a very nice tone and it's in pretty good condition. Just having a wee catch up with Albert. Here's 7 items that he's found over the last half an hour. So he's been doing pretty well. Certainly plenty of targets, which is always the great thing about virgin fields. At the very top, he's got himself what looks like a military button. There's possibly a coat of arms in the centre, but it's in pretty corroded condition, but it's probably 17 or 1800s. This, I think, is a fitting maybe off leather or off of wood. He's got himself 2 pennies. This one is in pretty similar condition to my last one, George V. I think it was 1921. And then he's got his son, and that's George VI. So that's the late Queen Elizabeth II's father. And this one I think was around about 1938, so close to the outbreak of the Great War. I'm doing my best to try and get it into the light but out of the wind. As you heard earlier, it was a pretty awful day, but yeah, I think it's 1938. So yeah, on the eve of the outbreak of the Second World War. He got himself a lovely big musket ball made of lead, which is probably 16 or 1700s. And then this curious little thing here, which it looks like it's been silver plated or tinned. It's almost like a button or, I don't know, some sort of mount or brooch. You can see the sort of curved shape of it. So if you know about that one, then let us know. And then this item here, any of you who are metal detectorists, you'll know you often dig something up. And you can tell by the sort of fabric of it, the look of it, that it's old. It's got these 2 grooves down the centre, and on the other side it's almost as if it's got a sort of shaped blade. So I don't know if this is an old item or not, but if you know, then let us know. Oh, and lastly, you got this little thing here just a minute ago, which I'm not sure if it's either part of an old plough or till, or it's part of a box iron, an early iron that was used for ironing clothes. But it's made of iron, and again, let us know in the comments below. One thing that I turned up plenty of in this field was bottle tops. Now you've seen earlier on, there was a few of them that had a little bit of writing on them, and this one is a bit smashed, a little bit damaged, but it's of a variety that we've had before, or certainly I've had before. And I'll give it a little rub-a-dub, and you will see some of the detail start to appear. So this is a type of whisky called White Horse whisky, and it can trace its roots back to Edinburgh in 1861 and a man called James Logan Mackie. Now it has a little bit of a link to a woman, a very famous Scottish woman, who was also a queen called Mary Queen of Scots. And for once I can bring a little bit of my tour guiding industry into the metal detecting game. So this is where White Horse whisky began back in 1861. The building at the far end dates to 1623, and it's the original White Horse Inn. So this was a coaching inn, and this is where the White Horse whisky began to be distilled. So the White Horse Close takes its name from Mary Queen of Scots. She originally used to stable her white pony here because we're just a stone's throw away from Holyrood Palace on the Royal Mile in Edinburgh. And later on, the building became an inn, and within that inn is where the White Horse whisky was born. So there you go. It's a beautifully preserved close right in the heart of the old town of Edinburgh. This wee curious target here, I'd be interested if you could give me an identification for it. So it's a kind of funny scallop shaped hook, and originally it looks to be pretty plain. It's copper alloy, and I couldn't really get any detail off it, but in a moment I find a second one, and it does have some detail on it, so you'll see the two of them side by side in a moment. My guess is it's probably Victorian, 1800s through to maybe 1900, and it may be something related to maybe curtain rails or such like. So what do you think of this little thing? Now originally I thought it was maybe part of a watch, yet again another watch, because it's very smooth on the back. So I'm picking this out expecting to maybe see part of an old corroded watch mechanism, and then it becomes apparent that no, this is some sort of polished stone within a copper ring. So I think that this is some sort of fob seal, which I've had a few of before in the past. Give it a little bit of a spray, clean the mud out, and you'll see the orangey red colour starting to come through. So I think this is some sort of agate or some sort of polished semi-precious stone, and that it was probably attached to a fob on a pocket watch chain, what they would call a Prince Albert chain, is that what they were called? But you'll see the little white swirls. I don't know, maybe some sort of carnelian or some other kind of stone, a bloodstone or such like. It doesn't have a deep red colour, it's more of a gentle light orange colour. So hold it up to the light and you can see the colour shining through. So my guess is probably Victorian or maybe Georgian, so it's probably sometime 1700s through into the beginning of the 1800s. But I'd be interested to know your thoughts, so let me know in the comments below. Now, we saw one of these just a few minutes ago, and this is a matching pair. However, this one you'll see is very different from the last one because look at the decoration on there. Give it a wee gentle rub with the brush and bring some of that to life, but you can see it is almost a little bit kind of Celtic knotwork in terms of the decoration. Some swirls and I would say very much Victorian in decoration and style, but I've got no idea what it is. So I did wonder if it's maybe something to do with hanging curtains. And this is the two of them side by side. So again, if you know, then comment below. Now this was a very curious little find. Didn't give a fantastic signal, it was in the higher 60s, but straight away I can see some decoration. Now my suggestion is, or my thought is, now I think it's probably part of a spoon handle. But you can see there are some very prominent stars on it, and it's got a very specific shape to it. Initially I thought it was probably badly bent, but I actually think it was always this shape. So maybe it is like a little, I don't know, maybe like a mustard spoon, or a little, almost like a little ladle-y type spoon, maybe even a christening spoon. So I'd be interested again to hear what you all think of that. It's very, very richly decorated. Now date-wise, I'm not really sure. Initially I thought Victorian, but then again it looks like it could be a lot older. Looks like the remnants of a maker's mark, and it also has probably been silvered or tinned originally. So again, if you know, comment below. Another wee coin for Albert, 1909. It's a 1 penny, and you've guessed it, it's Dirty Bertie, Edward VII, so the son of Queen Victoria. He's only on the throne for 9 years, so he's not that common when it comes to coinage, but always nice to see a Dirty Bertie. This is a curious little thing yet again. Originally I thought a dog tag, or even a soldier's dog tag. Gave it a little brush up, and it's plain on one side, but on this side it looks like it's got the number 26. So I'm guessing it's possibly a tag for, maybe for keys, because I don't think this would be an animal tag. But again, let me know in the comments below. A wee shout out from Albert, and he's got himself another curious little find. So what do you think of that? It's very heavy, and it's made of lead. It's a bit rough and ready on one side, but perfectly smooth on the other, and it's almost perfectly circular. Now, normally I would think that it's going to be a a palm guard because it sits perfectly in the palm, and they're usually made of lead, but this one just looks a little bit strange in terms of being so smooth on one side and then being a little bit rough on the other. But I really can't think what else it could be. So a palm guard, you would strap it to your hand, and it was used for leather working. So you'd strap it in the palm of your hand, hence palm guard, and then you would use a big heavy needle for piercing through leather so you didn't stab yourself in the hand. And this is Albert's final target. It is, I think, part of a candlestick. But again, let me know in the comments below. So, as well as making an error towards the end of the video with the audio, I also made a complete mess of filming this summary, the finish up. So I'm afraid there isn't one. But as you can see, it's still raining. I'm sitting outside just because it makes for slightly better audio and less distraction. So I'm under a little canopy, trying to stay dry. But hopefully you enjoyed the video. Quite a few things, some interesting artefacts and relics. So I'd be interested to hear what you all think. If you recognise anything, if you can help date anything, then let me know in the comments below. So thank you all for watching, and hopefully we'll see you all on the next dig. Take care, and thanks for watching.